All right. In today's video, we are going to talk about a Db2 version 12.1, a new feature. It is called Intra-Tablespace parallel for backups. The short is ITP. Okay, so we are going to talk about this feature. This feature it is welcomed by the Db2 community, because for this feature, IBM enabled using multiple threads to perform backup a single tablespace. So this will leading to fast backups. Okay. So in this video, we are going to run some tests to compare backing up a database using this ITP feature or without. So it's basically prior to version 12.1. There's no such feature. However, in the version 12.1, this is a new feature by default. It is controlled by this Db2 set registry variable called Db2 backup underscore ITP. By default, it's turned on. We can turn it on. We can turn it off. Okay. Also, this registry, it is a dynamic registry. As said, it is it's not like you change it, you have to bounce the instance. It can dynamically change. One thing I would like to note, this parameter doesn't show from this command. Typically, if we run db2 command -lr, they will list all the registry, but for whatever reason, it is not listed in this command. Somehow, maybe it is missed by the IBM, or it is something new. But anyway, just FYI here, okay? So in this demo, we're going to prepare a database. I will use around 1 gig database. Here for the demo, it's not too small, and 1 gig should be good enough, okay? Here's the SQL statement. We're going to prepare this database. And so let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to log on to a system. In my case, it is called R9, not R9, T9. It is a Red Hat enterprise server, developer use. Let's see, host name. No host name CTO. Anyway, permanent. Let me just get the etc password, okay? etc OS release. Okay, so it is enterprise Red Hat enterprise level enterprise Linux 9.6. Okay, this is so we have a db2 instance installed. Let me sudo to the instance owner. In our case, called inst1. And so let's see, it's going to be db2 level. So this is our system. Okay, 11 version 12.1.2. Okay, so this is let's see, db2 Nikim. Yeah, that is the developer edition, and the maximum number of cores 4, and this is the limitation. Okay, so for this server, we do have like LS CPU. Let's see, have like 4 CPUs. So just for, and so let's get started. So let's see, this is the script. We first we're going to create a database called sample. Just run this command. I already run this, okay? So for demo purposes, I will still run this, okay? You can see it's already created. So we're going to create a, let's connect the database. So I'm going to connect the database. And then After that, we're going to drop if there's a table, I'm going to create a table about row 1 gig. So if it exists, we're going to drop, okay? This line, we're going to see, create a table with definition, okay? We could just create the table itself. After that, we're going to create define a cursor and load some data, okay? So we're going to load about 3 million row. And so then we will do run the backup, okay? So we're gonna do declare. So once the cursor is declared, so we're gonna load this data into this table called T1, okay? Okay, so paste here. Okay, let's take a few 10 seconds. Once this is complete, we're going to just run the test, okay? So let me go up to this. So we're going to run 2 tests. So we're going to run first, we're going to run by default, because by default, it is the ITP, it is enabled. So we don't have to do anything. And so we just do a backup. We can either backup to /dev because we can see we don't need disk IO. So just purely run a backup, or we can backup to a location. Either way is fine. So in this demo, let's just use dev now for demonstration the backup itself. Okay. So to test 1, we're going to run these 2 commands. So it's going to be db2 backup db sample. So for the first one, we're going to do it is without compression. Okay, so the second one is going to be the db2 backup db2 sample to /no. So we're going to do a compress. Okay, so both is ITP. So let's do it enabled. Okay, before we do that, let's do a db2 set. Okay, so let's see -all. The current, you see the db2 I manually set. Okay, let me change it to the default. Okay, so I'm gonna change this to the default. So since it's dynamic, let's try again. You see, we don't see that parameters, right? As earlier mentioned, typically if we do run this command, we will list all the db2 registry. It is about like 100 something, 250 registry. However, we don't see that command called db2 backup. Okay, there's no command, no variables listed, so that means somehow they didn't put this to this command to list these parameters. Okay, it is kind of odd, but maybe we can file a ticket with IBM saying this parameters not listed. But regardless, we can still use this. Okay, so this is the parameters. Okay, all right. So let's do the test number 1, because right now you see, by default this ITP is enabled. Okay, if we run the backup, we'll see this parallelism. Okay, so let me change the. Let me see what can I do. Let me see if I can do this way. Okay, all right. So I'm going to run a let me see. All right, so let me log on to the same system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open another session to look at the system resources. Okay, so this is HT. Okay. All right, so it's the same system. I'm going to run a command called top. Okay, so we'll see this top command. You can see I just mostly interested to the CPU utilization, and you can see it. We have 4 CPUs. This is the CPU user. The user sys, nice value, idle, and wait. Okay, this is the current CPU utilization. And during the backup, we can see how this CPU being utilized. Okay. All right. So let's do the first test. The test number 1. So we just simply do a backup to. Let's just do a simple backup to see how this how long it takes. And so we will have a knowledge to see how this parallelism be introduced. Okay. So the first backup was very quick. It take like 9 seconds. Okay. So let me try one more time. To see it more clear, let me use the toggle to see the CPU. Okay. Let me try one more time. All right. You see the CPU utilization. Very short. You see all the 4 CPU being used. So it's about less than 10 seconds. So now let's use the compress, okay? Because compress can use the multi-CPU to compress in the prior to 11, 12.1, and it's a single-threaded. So you cannot like utilize all the CPU to the backup, okay? So that is what is relatively slow. This one take 22 seconds. Let me try one more time. And you see during the backup, you see all the CPU, it's like 90% being used during that parallel, the process of parallelism, okay? So roughly for this 1 gig database, right, if we just simply back up on this platform, on this, it is about, let's see, 8 to 9 seconds uncompressed. So compress is about 22 seconds, or, and that is at range. All right, so now let's see, if we back to the old fashion, we don't want to use the, so if we don't want to use the parallelism, and then we're going to disable that, okay? So to disable that, we're gonna use these parameters, okay? So we're gonna use these parameters. So let's do a Db2 set. So we're gonna set this to off. By setting this off, it's basically back to the old fashion, like prior to version 12, like Db2 11, okay, version 11. So let's confirm this change. Now you see this is turned off. This is gonna, if we run the backup right now, this can behave the same as the single thread, okay? No ITP, okay? So let's run the same command. So first we run a uncompressed backup. And from this output, you can see it. This one thread uses the most CPU, but the other is not. So it's about 10 seconds. It's very similar, you see. Of course, if we have enterprise server, we have like multiple CPUs, probably we can see a much difference, but I don't know how much. But based on some tests performed by SAP, they have some tests on the internet. It says it's about 50%, a little bit more than 50%. That is SAP test, okay? And let me see, I can, so let's do the compressed one, okay? So you can see it's about close, right? 8 seconds to 10 to 11 seconds uncompressed. So let's do the compressed one. So let's see. So we'll do the compressed one. So compressed can, you can see, we don't see that's like 90% of all 4 CPUs. They probably just use one CPU extensively during the compression. The others is going to be relatively low, okay? So this is the symptom. All right, let me go to the website. Okay, so this is the website. So that is what the Db2 12.1 new features. One of this is the new features. Okay, ITP for backups. So this is the this is the parameters control this behavior. So this is the one of the tests done by the SAP people, and this is faster backup with Db2 ITP, for the SAP databases. So they compare lots. They have lots of data to compare, but at the end, there are tests showing here it is the benefit. Okay, so with ITP off, you see the total runtime, but I didn't read very carefully if they are using compressed or not. But there was a very large table space. Okay, and they say like 45%. Let me do a search if they mention the compress or not. Okay, Control F. Okay, they do. It is. You see, this is the backup command. The Db2 backup to the database with 8 buffers parallelism for compress. Okay, so yeah, it is the way you see the this is from the Db2 diagonal. So anyway, so their result, it is about 45%. Let's see at the end where it is. Yeah, so more than 50% packet to reduce. Okay, so let's see. It is it's around to 50. Okay, so anyway, so let's see what our result is. So our result is 45. So that is earlier was 22, 23. Now it is 45. Okay, so let's try one more time. So basically, you can see it. Here's the compare. Okay, so to compare it is in our simple test for the non-compressed backup, they are similar. Okay, there's no fundamental difference, at least from the simple test. Okay, and however, for the compressed backup, it's showing the like with the ITP, it's about 50%. Yeah, somewhere like that. So you basically cut the backup time. It is by half. I also tested on other server. It's more like enterprise environment. Are seeing the similar behavior. Okay, so the benefit it is you speed up the if we use the ITP, it definitely gonna speed up the backup when we use the compression. And however, we will to let's try one more time. So let's turn the back. Okay. So now we're gonna turn the back. We can either use on or just use the default. Okay. So let's see Db2 set. So we confirm it is back to the default value. So let's run one more time. So to confirm, so this compressed backup probably is going to be somewhere like 22 or 23 seconds. It's about around 50%. Okay, so you see the CPU utilization. It is all like 90% of all CPUs. If we're using developer edition, we probably can use more CPUs, like go beyond the 4 CPUs. But regardless, from this test, we can see it. It is indeed improved the backup performance with the CPU high CPU utilization. Okay. All right, so that's it for the video. I just want to, introduce this new feature, and I think for the people backing up a large database will be happy to use this feature because, if you cut to 10 hours to 5 hours, that is, pretty good. Or from 5 hours to 2.5 hours, I don't know, that is also pretty good. Depends on the resources on the on your server. All right, so that's for today.